Good morning, you guys. Happy Sunday. It is Becca Lori Hector here, and I am so excited to finally be here. You guys, I have missed the last two lives, two of them, and I am so sorry about that, you guys. But good morning and welcome to Growing Gratitude. Growing Gratitude is my attempt to talk about the things in my life that I am grateful for very publicly once a week, and then hope that you guys continue to grow the gratitude in your life. And that would be amazing because we know that gratitude has so many positive results when we kind of really add it into our lives. So welcome to my Sunday. It is Sunday Hair Don't Care Day. I am like mostly awake, but I'm super exhausted. This week has been interesting. Of course, I'm still working at the vet's office and I am still very happy, and I will let you know if that changes, but I'm still quite happy doing that work, and it's a good kind of tired. So actually, let's make that my first gratitude. Totally grateful for the team that is at the vet's office that I'm in. Really grateful for our doctor for having put together a team of people like this. And I'm really super grateful for the opportunity to, hey, CV, super grateful for the opportunity to return to animal care. I didn't realize exactly how much I missed it and how much I enjoyed it until I was back in it. And so I'm really glad to be back doing that. So gratitude to that. And then like major gratitudes, I guess, to Antonio. I don't know exactly where to place the gratitude, but I'm really, but I'm going to go with Antonio because he's sort of the machine behind everything that's happening. But everything is going well in our new brick and mortar. We've added the sandwiches. They are flying off the shelf. Our town is figuring out that that's where we are and that's where the sandwiches are. And it's been really kind of nice to kind of both be doing something that we enjoy and actually for the first time making money at what it is that we enjoy. Hey, Karen, good morning. And so, yeah, that's my next gratitude for that whole situation, because kind of amazing. You know what I mean? It's been just amazing. And so I'm grateful for that. Good morning, Morgan. And yeah, so those were my really kind of big ones. And oh, thanks, Evie. I'm so glad that you appreciate it. I have to tell you, I missed you guys, which is going to sound, I know it's going to sound fake and it's going to sound made up, but here's the deal. Like, our community that we created out of the Self-Defined Living course, out of the kind of the thoughts and thinking patterns behind the course and the stuff that we as a group have decided is kind of that, it's our priority, right? It's a priority for our group, right? We're like a group of folks in this, we're getting bigger, but not quickly, and that's fine. I think if we grew too fast, I'd be suspicious. But I feel like I'm surrounded by like safety and hugs when we share things in our group, when we talk as a group, when we do our live streams, because I know that there are people that watch that haven't taken the course. But when I'm doing this, I'm thinking about all of you guys that have taken the course, like your faces and your stories and your lives. You like that in the morning? And your lives, right? They're all important to me, right? It's almost like it's a bond, and it's different than a bond of friendship to me. It's bonding over what we consider to be the most important things in our lives, and we all happen to share those thoughts. And so it makes it a really safe, loving place to share the things that are hard, to share the successes, to share our joy, to share our sadness, right? And to kind of explore what it feels like to be processing all of that as an autistic. And so missing Tuesday, which, by the way, can we talk about last Growing Gratitude first? I was 15 minutes late. And when I realized that I was 15 minutes late, I could have cried, you guys. I was so ready. I had everything with me. I was ready with things to talk about, all this stuff. And then I looked and I was so disappointed. So I can't imagine that you guys are disappointed. I walked around with guilt all that whole Sunday thinking about it. And then on Tuesday, Wednesday rather. We've now moved to Wednesdays for the live stream. I had to work on Wednesday, and so I had talked about it on the previous Being Back Alive, but because I missed Growing Gratitude, I couldn't remind you that there would be no live video. And then Wednesday came and all of that stuff, and I don't know, it feels like we've been apart for a really long time. And this week was a week that was challenging for me on the advocacy front. And so you guys know I've sort of stepped back, and there's like a handful of things that I'm doing only because they're the things that I enjoy and that I love. So I'm keeping Newsstand, and I'm keeping our group, of course, and anything self-defined living course or seminar related I'm staying with. And of course, I'll still do limited one-on-ones, and I'm going to just sort of limit my writing to stuff I really, really want to write about. And so I've already like stepped back in 3 different phases kind of from advocacy. And yet people just want to pull me back in, man. They just want to like drag me in and get me to feel all those feelings, all those toxic, like upsetting feelings that so many of us get when we interact with our own community, because of the state of affairs in Denmark, so to speak, right? I mean, it's the state of affairs of our climate right now, our advocacy climate. It's become like laterally aggressive and kind of violent, and everyone's always looking for the other advocates to make a mistake. Everybody's always looking out for the things that the missteps that you might make, because if they can accuse you of those missteps, then they can put you on blast to the community and kick you out, and therefore become more popular. So when I started advocacy, we were genuinely working our hardest, and that meant a lot of masking, and it meant a lot of meetings where people talked about autistics as if we weren't in the room, and it meant a lot of hardship in that sense, and it also meant a lot of compromise, a lot of meetings with people you wouldn't really meet with or you don't agree with, and all of those things on executive levels, because if we don't sit in those meetings, who's going to say something, right? And so the advocates that, like me, that started about 10 years ago doing advocacy, we were picking up the work of those that came before us that were doing all of that hard work, trying to show people that autistics had value. So the idea that some newbie youngin that's come in after me, that I've supported as, you know, an advocate and helped and shared their work and all kinds of stuff, would come at me, even, and privately no less, about those kinds of questions, when here I am, I just keep stepping back further and further because they're such bullies. Right? And they're not doing advocacy. It's become this popularity contest full of shock value. And it's not really about the advocacy anymore. It's not about having those hard meetings and sitting through them and getting yourself in those doors. It's lost that advocacy piece to it. And it's just become like a social media monster thing. And that's not my style. That's just not my deal. That's not why I began advocacy. That's not my goal of advocacy. That's not why I do this. It's not why I spent 10 years sitting in meetings feeling like shit. I did it for us. And yeah, that's meant that I've had to meet with some people I don't agree with. It means I've had to sit through meetings that went nowhere. It means a lot of things. But it also means that I put my time, spoon, and energies into our community in a really selfless way. And the fact that someone else could say otherwise to me, or think that they could say otherwise to me, and open a conversation that way, is really aggressive, and I can feel very threatening, and I am not a fan. Don't partake in that. So this is my public statement that please don't send me gossip about the autism community. Please don't get me involved in the arguments and attacks amongst each other. Really not interested in those things. If you want resources, if you need some help, if you'd like some guidance, if you want to attend a seminar, if you'd like to learn about yourself and do some evolving, feel free to contact me at all hours of the night via email, via messenger, or whatever. That's the stuff I care about. Those are my priorities. If it has anything to do with anything other than that or cats, then please don't message me. I'm not going to give you the time of day. I just don't have the spoons for that shit. I've worked too hard at being a happy, healthy person and not an internally angry person. And I don't want to do that anymore. So kindly, please give me my space and boundaries. I realize that leaves me personally open for gossip and open to be attacked, you know, behind the scenes of advocacy. But I hope that the people that have worked with me over these 10 years, that know me for over 10 years, that have worked with me recently on the stuff that I work on now, we'll see past that and will not, we'll see it for what it is, which is gossip. But I just can't and don't want to give my spoons to that shit. I just don't. So that's that. And so it made it really hard for me that we didn't have our Wednesday meetings, now Wednesdays, which might change again in July. I'm not sure. But it makes it hard because here we've worked so hard as a group to create the self-defined living space, right? Our safety zone, our caring and kindness for each other. It's a space without judgment about your past, your future, your anything. It's just a space to be you and ask the things you need to know of others that are in a similar place. And that's where I want to be. And that's where I wanted to be this week. I wanted to seek you guys out, and I didn't have my stupid live, and it was really annoying. And so I'm going to try to use the group more actively. I want you guys to know that I am spread like super duper thin right now between Antonio opening the brick and mortar and going back to work at the vet's office and still trying to maintain these things. So please bear with me, but please use the group, you guys. If I'm not in there making it active, post silly shit. Post dumb things that you see in your other groups. It doesn't have to be all serious all the time in the self-defined living group. I just want us there and having a sense of community so that we have a place to go when we have shitty days. And so I want you to know that I missed you guys as much as you guys missed me and sent me messages about where I was and how was I doing and all of those things. Because that's how I feel about our group. And my bubble just keeps getting smaller. And the smaller it gets, the better it gets, which is so fucked up. But the smaller I make my bubble, right, the more particular I am about who's in there and who gets to stay in there, right, the better I get as a person. And the more I like my bubble. How fucked up is that? Like, I could have 3 people in there, but I know that the 3 people in there are my go-to for everything. Right? I don't care if it's 10 people in there, 20 people in there, or 3 people in there. It's a quality bubble, and that's what matters. And so that's sort of where I've been at, you guys. And I am grateful for the self-awareness now that I didn't have this. And I wanted to talk about it for this reason. I'm grateful for the self-awareness that I have now to see when someone is messaging me, kind of attacking me, not really attacking, but just coming aggressively at me like that. It's usually about their shit. It usually has something to do with their shit or an argument they're seeing that they think is not fair and somehow think that I can do something about it. And if I don't want to do something about it, then I become the target of the anger, right? And so I get a lot of that. And I used to, and I'm sure you guys used to also, right? We used to I get sucked right in. Well, don't say that about me. Who the fuck do you think you are? And I do this and I do that and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And in fact, what I end up doing is feeding into, or I used to feed into the machine, right? I'm essentially was feeding into whatever the anger was about and allowing it to grow by becoming angry myself, right? And I say no more. I've said no more about that for quite some time. And this last time, I really put my foot down. I was like, go away were the words that I used. Go away and leave me alone, right? When I have to get that black and white with somebody, go away and leave me alone. That is my self-awareness kicking in and saying, don't you dare, self. Don't you dare steal their emotions as an empath. Don't wear them, don't feel them, don't nothing them, right? And this is not about you. And it doesn't get to take over your whole day. So go away and leave me alone. Right? And that was the first time. I've done it a few times before, but this time it felt like such a true, authentic, aware response. Right? Like, I'm not doing this anymore. And if you have a need to do this, right, go find someone else. Go away and leave me alone. Right? And that is something that I have worked towards and something that and it's a piece of, and you guys, I want you to know this part, it's a piece of that emotional regulation piece, right? We talk about it a lot and blah, 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 blah. But when you are in control of the way that you choose to respond to people, that's it. That's the key. Your responses to everything, right? Situations, challenges, people, all of it. Your responses are the only thing that you can control. You can't control how people hold you, come back at you. You can't control what people hold you responsible for. You can't control the anger that other people may have. But what you can control is how you choose to respond to that. And that choosing that aware response is emotional regulation, right? But instead of letting these people work us all up and get us all agitated, right? We are taking control of the emotional situation. And that felt really good yesterday. And I followed it up with a few other messages that I needed to just clear some space in my life and take some space away from some other things. But I did all of that. And when I was finished with the whole interaction, I felt different. I didn't feel that guilt and shame, like, oh, I was such a bitch, or, oh, maybe they're right, or, oh, imposter syndrome, or, oh, right? I didn't do any of that stuff to myself because I am 100%, 150% solid in my priorities and values. And I know what alignment looks like and feels like. And I know that the minute I got that message, I felt like, oh, you're not in your lane right now, person, right? Not in your own lane. So already stepping into my lane, which we know is a giant mistake all the time, right? So it was first that, and then it was, oh, you're trying to transpose what's going on for you onto me, and I don't need that. So no, right? And it was, I was just proud of myself. I was really, really, really proud because I think a lot of us feel the need to defend ourselves and all kinds of other stuff. But frankly, if somebody is in your space, in your boundary, personal space, either mentally or physically, right, you're allowed to say no. And that's what I did. And I felt so good for saying no. And that's what I want you guys to learn. When you are self-aware and you choose your response, and you have that emotional regulation, you are making smarter decisions, right? Because we're not making them, in a moment of passion or anger or sadness or whatever. All right, I'm going to catch up over there for a little bit because you guys have been writing. Hi, Bernard. I'm sorry I missed your hello. Excuse me. Yes, it's just a major spoon depleter, says CV. Even just observing from the outside, seeing the post. Yes. Nobody wants to read that shit. Nobody wants to hear about that shit. Most of us in the community would like to better our lives and better our standing in society and do good and push good for the whole community, right? And so why are you making people read all that shit and waste their time on all that shit? Don't you have better stuff to put out in the world? Don't you have happier things to put out in the world? More productive things? I don't know. Anyway, Karen said, I'm sorry you've had that experiences. It's one reason I find it hard to share on social media, apart from in a very limited way. Coward maybe, but I don't have the mental space for more. Karen, you are not a coward, okay? Social media is just another version of socialization, right? It's just another version of going out to dinner with your friends, going to a party. It's a more accessible way for us, but it is by no means something anybody should have to do, right? Since I started working at the vet's office, I don't have time to check it like I used to, and I fucking love it. I don't want to care about social media because social media isn't reality. It's not. We don't wake up in the morning in social media. We don't go to sleep in social media, right? And it's important that our real lives, our real, actual physical lives feel good, right? And that doesn't have to include social media. It just doesn't. And guess what else, Karen? You can just watch. You can go and look and read and catch up and find the articles, and you don't have to interact. So I say be nicer to yourself about it, because I think it's a great way to be. I think understanding that social media is not something that's important to you, is something that causes you distress, and then deciding not to be on it very much or not to participate in it very much is a wise choice. It just sounds like really good decision making to me, Karen, and not coward at all. Let's see. CV says, my inner mantra is the visual you shared of stay in your lane. Yeah, CV, right? Like that's the one that popped into my head when I was like, whoa, you just crashed your car into my lane and rear-ended me. And I was just driving along, right? And that happened. Why? Not because of me, but because somebody else didn't stay in their lane, right? And so you see how easily you could like poof, right? And you can lose friendships over not staying in your lane. You can lose relationships over it. You can lose a job from not staying in your lane. Just fucking stay in your lane, right? And if somebody's waving to you from over in their lane, wave back. Don't drive over there. Just wave back, you know? It's a really important thing to remember all the time, is to stay in our lane and to take care of ourselves. Because often when we're doing anything other than that, we're usually deflecting about something about ourselves that we don't want to deal with. So yeah, I like that. I like that you picture that picture in your head, because I see it too. I'm like, I just felt that crash. What a fucking mess. Now everyone's in traffic. Fuck you. Right? And that's it. That's how it feels. Let's see. Social media is stressful, says Bernard. Quality bubbles. Yes. Isn't that important? It's so important to not, it's not the size of your bubble that matters, but the quality of your bubble that matters. Right? And I think we need to remember that. It's okay to kick people out till you're left with very few, because what you're doing is opening up space in your bubble for better people, right? I mean, you're just opening up these spaces for people to come in, that you're not wasting and using up with people that don't get it, the people that can't, you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Karen says, thank you for the affirmation. I love that. Wave from your lane, but don't drive there. Yes. Don't go over there. Right? Like, have you ever been driving? You're driving, you're listening to your music, you're living your life, right? Someone waves to you from the other lane, or you let them go and they say thank you, right? They say thank you, we say you're welcome, right? And everyone drives along their way. Nobody goes switching lanes so they can roll down their window and say thank you, because we'd cause a giant crash, right? And so that's a great way to think about it. I kind of like it myself, right? And wave, keep on going, right? We don't want to get out of alignment. We don't want to get off our path. We don't want to cause an accident in our lane or anyone else's. So a quick wave back, acknowledging people's existence and going on our way, right? I think that's the important way to be. And if somebody wants more than a smile and wave, they'll honk at you or something, right? You'll know they wanted something more. But let's assume less. Let's just wave and go about our day, instead of trying to stop and help every other driver on the road. Okay, well, that's enough of that analogy. I think I beat that one with a dead horse. So that's been my week. My biggest gratitudes go to always the universe for lining things up. And if we're paying attention, we can see them. And then my second biggest gratitude goes to you guys for being with me on the idea of creating a space where we can have these conversations without judgment, without fear, without any of those things, and helping me to make it in real life too, by putting it on social media as a way we can contact in real time. And so use the group, guys, because I will come in there. I mean, I'm in there. I'll pop in. I don't have to be the only one who posts or anything. And the content for our group is completely up to you guys, right? It's the stuff that we want to talk about. So yeah. I hope to see you guys in there. And I want to, just before I go, remind you guys that Decision Making Decoded, my June seminar for Self-Defined Living, is happening this Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So if you're interested in taking Decision Making Decoded, please hop over to my website and register. It's $20. If you've taken the Self-Defined Living course, you get your Self-Defined Living discount. So please make sure to email me and I'll get you registered for the right price. But yes, come check it out. It's an hour where we're going to be taking apart decision making, figuring out how to make good decisions and what it is that goes into good decision making. Yes. So we're going to talk about that stuff on Wednesday. Pass it on, get folks registered who want to take it, whatever you think. If you can't do it on the day of, fear not. A recording is made and sent out to you after for watching a second time, or a third or fourth or fifth for the rest of your life. So if you can't make the actual time, fear not. Don't forget to register, because you'll get a recording of it that you can watch on your own time. And then, of course, it'll be up for purchase on my website if you miss it entirely by the time we get to July. So a reminder of that, because that's coming up this Wednesday and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. And then other than that, I'm going to try to get back on my schedule and come back at you on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for Being Becca Live. That's our new day, not a new time. And I'm hoping for it to stay that way, but based on my schedule in July, I might have to switch days again on you guys. I'm sorry. Hopefully that'll straighten itself out. And yeah, that's about all I got for you today. Just remember that the seminar is coming up next week. And otherwise, I will see you out and about on the interwebs. I am out and about on there. You can always reach out to me on social media. But you can also email me directly at info@beccalori.com. That's LORY.com. Or you can use the contact page right there on the website, which comes directly to me. And again, that's Becca Lori, LORY.com. While you're there, you can sign up for the free newsletter. You can check out all my social media. You can read some of my writing. The Self-Defined Living Redbubble store is there. The course is there. The seminars are there. It's all there. So please head over to my website, take a look at all that stuff. And I really hope to see you guys this Wednesday for Decision Making Decoded. Until then, I will see you out there. Have a good day, you guys. Don't forget to do some gratitude today on Sunday for yourself. And don't forget to go out and enjoy the rest of your day. Create joy, seek joy, share joy, all the joys. And I will see you on Wednesday. Bye, guys.